Okay, I need to shake it out. Okay. The memory of her leaving was so vivid in my mind. I remember the warm sun beaming down on me through the large window that made a rainbow effect over a cart holding an arrangement of flowers and an arrangement of Hallmark cards. I took a breath of the various scents of roses, lilies, daisies, and every other flower that you can imagine that filled the air. My mother held me tight. Her uniform was rough against my skin. She peered at my tear-stained face, gave me one last hug, marched away, and her noisy boots only looked back once. Just like that, she was out of my sight, and despair washed over me as if I jumped into it head first. I was standing still as traffic around me kept its pace. I looked out the window with swollen eyes, waiting for flight 242B to take off. My mother was deploying once again. That was a rather really cheesy high school essay assignment that I wrote about my mother, Janelle Paugh. She was a naval officer who was often on deployment a lot through my adolescence. Especially considering that I was in that really awkward, very crucial stage in a young girl's life. But even through her absence, and even after she was home, she taught me how to be a woman, most importantly. She was born on August 30th, 1974, to a couple of foreigners. They were Swedish. My grandparents, they came over, and my grandfather actually enlisted into the Navy. So the pride of this country is something that really just bloodstreams through all of us. And then soon enough, Janelle joined the Navy after high school as well. And a couple of years later, on June 19th, 1996, I was born. Janelle was deployed 7 times over the span of 15 years, leading up until I was 15. And it's crazy to think that collectively, she was absent for half of my life. At the time, I didn't really understand what being in the Navy really meant. I knew she was away in foreign countries a lot, helping people and bringing supplies, but I never knew the kind of heartbreak and the kind of turmoil that she went through on a daily basis. Looking back in retrospect, she would tell me stories about how she had to, from when she had to learn how to sleep standing up because she was just that exhausted, to having to bury dozens of kids that were my age at the time. And the fact that whenever I did see her, whenever she was home, she was always this very optimistic and radiant person, it really helped me see what being a woman was really, what being a woman really meant. So after almost over 10 years in the Navy, she was discharged after her last deployment. It was very brutal on her. She was discharged due to a numerous amount of medical conditions she received that collectively just deemed her unable to serve. Along with the other medical conditions that she was diagnosed with, one of them was being PTSD, which is something that over 27 million other veterans also suffer with. So along with her PTSD and her other medical conditions, settling into civilian life was a really difficult transition. And it's also a transition that other veterans find difficult as well. Life to her felt like it was a new battle that she had to face. And coming home, settling into this silence of knowing that we really didn't know each other like a mother and daughter should. So the year following her discharge, I was a sophomore in high school. Growing up, I was always really quiet. As you guys can tell, I've never said too much. I was always really quiet, conserved, reserved. I never had a lot of friends. I was always the one who was more worried. Because growing up, that's all I really knew how to do was worry about my mom, worry about my family. That's all I've ever known. And especially in high school, I was worried, and not only worried, but I was more kind of bitter because everybody had these awesome moms, all my friends' moms, they were great, and I just couldn't understand why my relationship with my mom was suffering like it was. There was this sort of getting to know each other stage, which we both had to sort of bite the bullet on. We had to accept that we didn't really know each other like a normal mother-daughter should. And that was something that we both had to realize and kind of overcome it. We both had obstacles we had to overcome. I was in that now very awkward high school phase, and she had the civilian transition that she was working on. So growing closer together with her has taught me more about being a woman than I could have ever imagined. Over the years, we have become closer despite the absence that we faced for so long. And to me, she's the world's strongest woman. And for her being a woman in the Navy, she had a lot of knowledge and a lot of advice to pass on to me. She taught me things like the value of hard work, patience, the art of expression, and how to be kind to others. And it wasn't until later in my adolescence that I really appreciated what she's done for me, and not only for me, but for our country. And seeing her successfully transition into civilian life with grace and peace is what inspires me and motivates me from here on out. Now she graduated culinary school. She is about to open a bakery downtown Norfolk now, and seeing that hard work really inspires me. Learning to love, learning to work hard, and learning to express myself and really live and strive for peace are just some of the things that she has instilled in me. So I leave you with a quote that is hanging in our living room above our dining table, I guess. It is a quote that really embodies what she has taught me about being the woman I am today. It is a quote from How to Ruin Your Life Without Even Noticing That You Are. You ruin your life by desensitizing yourself. We are all afraid to say too much, to feel too deeply, to let people know what they mean to us. Caring is not synonymous to crazy. Expressing to someone how special they are will make you feel vulnerable. There's no denying that. However, that is nothing to be ashamed of. There is something breathtakingly beautiful in the moments of smaller magic that occur when you strip down and are honest with those who are important to you. Let that girl know she inspires you, and tell your mother you love her in front of your friends. Express, express, express. Open yourself up. Do not harden yourself to the world. Be bold in who you are and how you love. There's courage in that.